Hey everyone, it is time for me to showcase cards. This is for the month of March. I had a couple kits left over, and so you can check those out. But I wanted to talk about how we created our cards. So one, if you want to create on your own, or two, if you had purchased a kit and weren't sure. Let me grab the stamp sets that we use so you know what we played with. Oops, sorry. So we played with the Daisy Daisy stamp set, and we played with this stamp and this one and this saying on this stamp set. So this is Daisy Daisy. You can buy the stamp set. It just doesn't come with thin cuts. So if you're not opposed to fussy cutting, or you want to use it just for straight stamping, this is an amazing stamp set, and it is on the web page so that you have that. Let me clean this up a little bit so you see that. Okay, so this is Daisy Daisy. Then we played with the Easter gnomes. So we did some coloring with watercolor pencils, and we used this one, or excuse me, this one, not the egg, and this little gnome. So we made two cards using the Easter gnomes, okay? Third, this was from the It's a Little Thing card making stamp set. I've talked about this in previous videos. This was a special January, February, maybe? Yeah. Yes, January, February. And I talked about this sentiment setting that came with the card making kit. And we used the happy birthday. Now, if you didn't get in on this one, you can, I do know they put it back on the website just recently. And so depending on when you watch this video, depends on when, if it's still available. I'm assuming since it's stamp set and they do make them in-house, that this is probably still available. And all these nice fonts and different sayings, it's kind of one of those new go-to stamp sets that you need in your arsenal. And then we played, maybe you bypassed this one and didn't see this in the book. It's called Friendship Daisies. I liked it right away before I even knew about Daisy Daisy, because I liked that these pieces were all thin cuts. Sometimes we just need that stamina leaf for a different type of flower, or maybe we die cut a flower and we need it. So I really liked this. I like this little cute sentiment. So we created a card using that. Last but not least, this also is a set that is not available, but the stamp I used in there was just these little dots. Now, you could use any little kind of accent stamp. I just like the petiteness and the crispness of this particular stamp. So if you were fortunate to get this stamp set in thin cut, you have that still available. All right, so those are the stamps we played with at class. So let's talk about the cards. Well, let's just start with that Daisy Daisy card. This is what was created. Now, you might have a different background in this set, just because I used It's a Little Thing paper pack, and so I didn't have enough for all the cards. So you might have a different choice here. But we colored with the Tri-Blend alcohol markers, and then stamped a little saying, and it's just mounted on black, and it goes on your card base. So it's pretty super easy and fast to do. The kits, of course, come pre-stamped, pre-colored, so that's a win-win for you. Okay, the second one we created, we played with the new Irresistible paper the Irresistible pack. It's heavier than, it's probably white cardstock, maybe just a smidge heavier. It's not like a chipboard because it's still pliable and usable. So we rubbed this strip, and I've talked about the Irresistibles before. They're a white on white pattern with a UV coating. You make them any color you want by rubbing color on them, and they add that texture. This one we did all in melon. I really like the melon and black. And also I showed them because it was something that slipped by me. This also Irresistible has an alphabet, and the alphabet you get dots, and they're pretty small, so they're really cute, and diagonal stripes. So you get a big selection with the alphabet. Now, in the patterns, that is a different one, you get 2 of each sheets, and they're 12 by 12, so you can do a lot of fun stuff. And sometimes we just, want to do this, keep it in one color scheme and don't have the paper that you really want. The Irresistibles is a way to go because it will really bring up and amplify your actual card. And then we random stamped this in 3. We did first generation, second generation. You can do a third, but it's pretty light. And then we did centers in the middle. This is where that little black dot was. We used some melon sequins, sponged the little tag, and added the happy birthday. So that's the second card that we created. Okay, the third card, let's talk about this. This is one of the little cute Easter gnomes. And so just a fun little, get your hand wet, play with the watercolor pencils, color her in, add the happy Easter. We wrapped the twine around, added some green dots. Again, just a fun card. Fun to use this on a 8.5, right? 8.5, yep, 8.5 by 3.5. Yep. So that's a cool card. Just super easy using the Daisy paper. Unfortunately, it is not available. I'm crossing my fingers that it might come back, but I have no word on that. And so, but this was, you can still get this because I still maybe have some kits, so you need to ask about that. Okay, that was the third card, and continuing with that Daisy thing, we created this fun little crisp card. Daisy accents with black really well. And so it is anchored on black. You have a little square here that tucks, you lay down, you adhere this on, just not this corner, and then you manipulate the paper to bring it back. It's going to take quite a bit of glue dot to hold it down, and then, or liquid glue, and then we used one of the flower die cuts, yes. This is a whole sheet of all different kinds of flowers. I've talked about it before. It's in the core book, and you probably kind of missed it. It's back where they're showcasing the acrylic shapes and the die cut, or the die cut shapes. And they show them in black, white, multicolor, and I think there is some of them are done in a natural brown. So it's always nice to have that little sheet of bunch of flowers because they really accent. And what's really cool is they have some of the daisies are wider opened, so, and thinner, so you have some different texture. So that's really cool too. So a fun card, a design we haven't played with for a while, and I thought it was really cute to showcase that. Last but not least, I taught them, and they appreciated after I showed them how to put it together. And so I'm going to show you the card. So this is called a faux step card. It fits in your 5.5 envelope. It's perfectly that way. So you don't have to have an oversized envelope. And it's not cut into. You're just going to add the pieces. And I'm actually going to walk you through how to do this. But I wanted you to see it up close first so you understood how it looked. Okay? So this is how your pieces come. So it's already scored at 1, and not scored well, I see. Scored at 1 and scored at 2 and scored at 5. So 1, 2, and 5. So just so you know, 1, 2, and 5. That's how that's scored, that piece. And then you're going to take that bottom and press it into the middle like this and fold the 5 down and really kind of burnish them, get them folded nice and crisp so that they stay without you having to do too much. So it kind of sits like that. I don't know if you can see that. Is that a better view? So you get the gist of that, okay? So let's talk about how you're going to decorate, and I'm flattening this out so you can see. So you have a piece like this, which is, yes, longer than you needed, but I didn't know if you wanted to cut a little bit off each ends or you just wanted to go this route or this route. I gave you some options, okay? You could also use this and just trim because it's pretty much a plait across. Then you're going to take this piece of blue, and again, you might have a different pattern or you might like this pattern. It just depends on what's there, but that is going to stay up to the top. Yes, there's a big gap here, okay? And then you have what I'm calling your faux grass. And you are going to want, and I gave it to you longer, to tear towards you. So peel this back and tear it towards you. And that is just going to lay, I don't have this anchored down because this is part of a kit. But it's going to lay across the bottom, and yes, you'll have a little blue here. No big deal. Okay, so that's mainly how you put that. And oh, let me show you. Then when that's done, you take your little gnome carrying the cart, and you can tuck 1 foot up, 1 foot down, however you want to do it, depending on how you tore. And then anchor him to your page. Let me get back up here. Anchor him to your page or her to your page. And then I'm putting in some little white iridescent sequins. One can go on the wagon and a little bit can go right here. So I'm going to stop for a minute so you can see how that looks. So you get that gist. And then this went on the bottom. Okay? So going back to this, you have your piece on the bottom. And then you have 2 pieces like this that are going to stick together like that. Now, you have choices if you like the pink better, but I kind of was trying to keep with a little blue sky action going, little blue on it. Okay, so when you have that all anchored down, it should look like this. So you're gluing this piece, and this piece. So you still have some movement on your card, okay? So I've showed you all the pieces, And then you have another piece, which is scored at 1 3/4, which is what, and I'm gonna take the stuff off so we don't lose this. which is going to go on the fatter portion of this. Yes, it's longer and you'll just trim it off. Let me get back on that for a minute. So I'm sorry, I'm playing with this. I just want to make sure, because we struggled with this portion a little bit last night when we did class. And I want to make sure that I have it right. So, yes. So you won't trim it. You don't have to trim it. Just go ahead and glue that piece down, okay? So, yes, it's going to have a little bit of the white. You want to make sure that you get both of these pieces with some type of adhesive on it, okay? So that it anchors to this in the middle. So you have that look. So just for purposes, so you will see, you won't have this blue on the back side, but I want you to see that when you flip this over, you're only going to have a small, see how small that is? There's not, let me offset this, try to get it straight. So you're only going to have a little strip to anchor this top piece to the back, so to hinge it, okay? Don't get carried away and glue this all down and it won't work. It won't open. It'll be stuck like this. But if you go to this part where it's only a smidge on the back side, you have movement in your card and it stands up taller for you, okay? Hopefully that helps. As I told the ladies last night, I'm gonna kind of put this together so you kind of get a visual. Oh no, I'll grab the one I've done. So this one that has all kinds of stuff behind it. As you can see, there's only, hopefully you can see that. There's just a little strip right here. So this is where you can add a piece of pattern paper. You could add a piece of white where you doodled around it, but this is where you can put your sentiment, or you can put who it's from or what it's for. So you get that look of this faux step card. I honestly think they are so cute. I've seen many different examples, some really cool stuff. So you can make this thinner. This piece here can be much thinner if you want more of an open. You can, I mean, the sky's the limit to create with. So have some fun with this. I hope you enjoyed this faux step card and all of these cards which I have created, and that it gets you excited for springtime. So anyway, these are the cards we made for March. Talk to you soon.